I saw a bunch of articles about this, and by the time folks are seeing this, it will already be affecting them. This says Walmart and CVS are cutting pharmacy hours. Pharmacy hours at Walmart and CVS will be reduced starting in March, so already passed, as the major retailers continue to deal with a nationwide shortage of pharmacy staff. Walmart confirmed to Axios that its pharmacy will close at 7 p.m., which is 2 hours earlier than the current closing time of 9 p.m. Weekend hours will stay the same, the company said. CVS will cut its shift hours at about 2/3 of its roughly 9,000 U.S. locations. Workforce retention and burnout have been a huge problem across every segment of healthcare, particularly amid the Great Resignation and the stressors of the pandemic, Axios' Tina Reed reports. A summer 2022 survey by the National Community of Pharmacists Association found that 76% of independent community pharmacies, that'd be you guys, were having a, quote, difficult time, unquote, filling staff. And then I saw similar articles, not about that exact same thing, also including Walgreens. There was Pharmacy Times was talking about it. CBS was talking about it. CBS had a quote from Walmart saying that they were doing it to help improve work-life balance for their associates. And then a spokesman from Walgreens, the second largest U.S. chain, also said that it had to adjust pharmacy hours over the past 12 months due to staffing shortages. That's a big deal when all of the major retailers are doing it. Has this affected you guys?
It's interesting. They're kind of doing it together, though.
Yeah, it's probably... They kind of went, well, all right, since they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how were we affected, honestly?
Yeah.
Slightly positively. I'm not saying we've had like direct people come in because of it.
Right.
But being an independent pharmacy, like most are, our hours are a little shorter. They're meant to be run by individual pharmacist owners, et cetera. So the hours are shorter for us and vast majority of independents across the country. So we're sometimes behind the eight ball a little bit in that way. So seeing now our hours are almost the same.
Yeah.
It's a benefit. Now we get around that a little bit. We offer home delivery, charge accounts, credit cards on file, auto filling, just personal touch on things. So we definitely get around the hours thing, but it's only kind of been helpful to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely not related to drug shortages. That's a big issue, but does not affect. I mean, if anything, honestly, sometimes the shortages make more work. Because you're talking to a doctor about changing the drug, changing a dose, explaining it to patients, trying to get it from other sources. Honestly, the shortages, if anything, have caused more work than just filling the script like normal and it's on your shelf. So not that it's really, and it's not so much a pharmacist shortage, it's really a technician shortage.
Okay.
It's a shortage of pharmacy technicians, and it's because they're overworked. I mean, quite honestly, pharmacy business, us to some extent, but we try to staff better for our own sanity and for the sanity of people that we work with and been with us for years. But a lot of them runs very short staffed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of burnout related to that. Because I saw that
the work-life balance.
Yes. The technicians are underpaid in a lot of cases and they're overworked.
I was just going to say, it seems like, I mean, those big box places are always understaffed because staffing is your number one expense. Mm-hmm. So they always try to run lean.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what was interesting too, when they say this is to help work-life balance. Well, people still need their medications. So now you've got 2 hours less to fill them. If their day was crazy before, now they've got 2 hours less. Those last 2 hours are probably a little quieter where they're kind of catching up on some things. Maybe things that aren't getting picked up that day. Now they lose that. So I think if anything, hey, 2 hours at home is probably worth it, and they would trade that they would make. Sure. But it's going to make their hard days potentially only harder, I think, the actual days themselves.
But it's not affecting you guys directly in terms of having trouble staffing or anything like that. You guys haven't had to cut hours?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to say. Because there's two stores that we're having to keep adequately staffed versus, however many branches of these large companies. So from that perspective, like from a numbers game, we've been lucky not to have to go out and hire so many people, but also kind of what Joey said at the outset, like we've had very loyal people from day one, and we probably just have lower tech turnover than normal. So thank you to all of our peeps.
Yes.
So that's been helpful, obviously. And then also, like Joey said, just to reiterate, the hours are huge.
Yeah.
They reduced their hours to basically what our operating hours already are.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's just been like, okay, the people are figuring, well, you know, if Rite Aid's open until 6 and the medicine shop's open until 6, I'm just going to go see my boys at the medicine shop, boys and girls.
Do it.
You know?
Do it. Speaking beyond the Oakmont and Pittsburgh area, because obviously anybody listening to this is already coming to you guys. That's without question.
Yeah.
But what's the solution? I mean, just online pharmacies? I mean, what you're talking about is right. There's X number of prescriptions that need to be filled. 330 million Americans. If they need a prescription, that doesn't change because the hours at Walmart changed.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the solution if there's not enough people
Well,
and people are burnt out?
I guess it's one of those things like from a patient standpoint, maybe I'm underselling it because again, we functioned at a 6 o'clock close time since the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't really think it's really much more harmful to patients. A 7 to 9 window. I know some people work late, etc. For us anyway, we deliver things. Some
Right.
other pharmacies do.
Yeah.
So we say, hey, I'm working late today. I'm not getting home till 6:30. You know, we can have that, you know, delivered to you. So, you know, I'm sure there are some people that, you know, the work pickup times could be affected, but hopefully with the autofills and things like that, you know, it's okay. So that would really be the only problem I can see here is literally that 7 to 9 pickup window. You know, and online pharmacy, I mean, again, bias is going to show here. And to be quite honest, if you're getting, you know, you take one thyroid med and it's every 90 days and you have an appointment once a year, is doing an online pharmacy something that we think is bad or that you're missing out on something? I can't really say that.
Right.
You know, but yes, whenever you're getting elderly and you need maybe a little bit of help keeping things together or understanding why the copays have changed or you're going on vacation and your medication's not due for 10 more days. So you don't want to get it filled in Florida. What do you do? Like all those things, we problem solve all those things for people and keep people in line a little easier. So I think once the more meds you're on and the older you get, there's just a higher need for problem solving in those cases and for accommodating. You're out of refills, those kind of things. We give you a little supply, all those things that we do to try to make sure that, you know, we're solving the problems. You're just not going to get an online pharmacy. You're going to talk to somebody different literally every time you call.
Right.
You're going to be 3 or 4 days away from meds.
Yep.
So you're still going to have to go to a local pharmacy for that antibiotic or for, you know, those acute meds. They can't solve that. They can't do controlled substances. So, you know, refrigerated items, which is more and more common with not only insulins, but all those GLP-1s, all those Ozempics we've talked about, are all refrigerated. They're all high end. And yes, they figure that out to an extent, but there's always just going to be occasional losses and lapses. And again, then you're kind of fending for yourself out there, calling and trying to talk to FedEx corporate and the online pharmacy. So, I mean, all those things. And the online pharmacy, I'm kind of lumping in with mail order, treating them the same way. That's really what we're talking about here as of now anyway. I mean, the other is the Amazon and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say that's, you know, my kind of summation of the online pharmacy.
And we already talked about it. If you're on Ozempic or one of those things, there are side effects that you might not realize right at first and that you need to troubleshoot with a real life human down the road. And if you're doing it through a faceless organization online, they don't know your situation. They don't know your condition.
You also is maybe less likely to call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you know somebody and you know the pharmacist and you trust them and you kind of know you're bothering them or whatever, they're busy, but still like, you know them and you know, you've been a customer there. You don't mind calling. Hopefully, you know, we lower those barriers for people too, who don't want to make that call, who just Google or whatever, you know?
Good. Well, I'm glad that that is not an issue for you guys. Very cool.
It'd be only a benefit, right?
That's right.